All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan, a very happy Harris Sultan, thanks to Israel. I think it's not possible for me to fall in love with Israel anymore. I think it's humanly not possible. Israel is the only country in the world that goes after its enemies without any apologies. The US used to be like that when they went after OBL inside Pakistan, a supposed ally. The US did not officially declare war on Pakistan, thereby that operation to take out Osama bin Laden was against international law. America had a strong moral argument that OBL, this terrorist, had killed 3,000 American civilians. Therefore, we're going to go in, even inside an ally's territory, and take him out. In fact, I remember Obama, in one of his presidential debates with John McCain, he said that if I get intelligence that Osama bin Laden is hiding in Pakistan, I will not trust Pakistan and I will unilaterally go in and take him out. I remember that. That happened in 2008. Pakistan was like, oh, how can Obama say that? We are America's ally in this war against terror.
Let me make this clear. There are terrorists holed up in those mountains who murdered 3,000 Americans. They are plotting to strike again. It was a terrible mistake to fail to act when we had a chance to take out an al-Qaeda leadership meeting in 2005. If we have actionable intelligence about high-value terrorist targets and President Musharraf will not act, we will.
Or we would risk the confused leadership of an inexperienced candidate who once suggested bombing our ally, Pakistan.
You know, as Senator Obama said, yes, last summer he basically threatened to bomb Pakistan, which I don't think was a particularly wise position to take.
Because the bad guys hide behind international law. The Pakistani military, Pakistani intelligence, they knew that Osama bin Laden was hiding in Pakistan. But they also knew that they are supposedly, on paper at least, America's allies. So America cannot actually attack Pakistan. Or so they're taught. So the United States used to be like that. The UK, Canada, all these free Western countries did not criticize Obama for that operation. But when it comes to Israel, of course, the same rules don't apply. But this is why I love Israel. Israel says, F you, I don't care. Now, this point actually troubled me ever since the October 7th terrorist attack occurred. Why are these Hamas terrorists openly hiding in plain sight in Qatar and nobody does anything about it? Well, as we know, because Qatar is supposed to be an ally, which obviously it is not, they have an agenda. Qatar is probably the single worst ally in the Middle East. Iran is not an ally. So when Iran conspires against the West, it makes sense. But Qatar is supposed to be an ally? Let me show you something. Qatar has emerged as one of the largest foreign donors to American higher education institutions. Key points include total investment from 2001 to 2021. Qatar donated approximately $4.7 billion to US universities, according to a 2022 study by the National Association of Scholars and US Department of Education data. Total investment, $4.7 billion. If you go further back, $6.5 billion. It's chump change for Qatar, but it's a lot of money when it comes to universities. And that's the reason why you see Islamist narratives taking hold in Western institutions. UK universities have also been recipient of Qatari donations. And I think Iran has made some donations to Western universities as well. So the reason you see these pro-Palestine, which are actually pro-Hamas demonstrations in Western universities, that's the reason behind it. It's Qatari money. So Qatar has been speaking from both sides of its mouth. And I'm sure Israel has always known this, but Israel's hands were tied until Israel says, you. That's why I love Israel. I don't know about Netanyahu's internal politics, him trying to do whatever, people accuse him of corruption and doing something with the judiciary. I don't know about any of the internal issues, but Benjamin Netanyahu, you are a legend, sir. You are an absolute legend. And the reason why I love him even more is because he's making all these pro-terror Hamas simps, these Western leaders, from British Prime Minister to Canadian Prime Minister to UN Secretary General, all of them are crying. That's why I love Benjamin Netanyahu even more. He's making all of them cry. So what do we know so far? Let me just read that out to you. This is what we know. Israel carried out a strike on senior Hamas leaders in Qatar's capital, Doha, on Tuesday afternoon. Qatar quickly accused Israel of reckless behavior and breaking international law. Yeah, you were hiding behind international law and giving safe refuge to these terrorists who killed Israeli citizens. Sorry, you've been hiding them. As I said, it's exactly the same as Pakistan harboring Osama bin Laden. But because the US is the king of the world, nobody can criticize the US for breaking international law. I think Israel can do the same thing. The Israel Defense Forces claim to have targeted those directly responsible for the brutal October 7 massacre. Well done. Well done, Israel. Explosions were heard and smoke was seen rising above the Qatari capital, Doha, early on Tuesday afternoon. Verified footage showed smoke rising from a heavily damaged section of complex next to Wuqud petrol station, blah, 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 close to central Doha. According to the Israeli military, it conducted a precise strike. So no carpet bombing, targeted at Hamas's senior leaders in Qatar using precise munitions. Israeli media says the operation involved 15 Israeli fighter jets firing 10 munitions against a single target. So basically, the Israeli jets just roasted them alive. Anyway, I think Hamas is saying that members of the group's negotiating delegation in Doha were targeted but survived the strike. However, Hamas said 6 others, including a Qatari security official, were killed, blah, blah, blah. These are the names. I don't care what they have to say. Well done, Israel. You're a legend. I love you. I love Israel so much. I have to move to Israel. I want to live in a country that values the lives of its civilians so much that they would go to war with the entire world. That's what Israel is basically saying. Wouldn't you want that? I would want my government, my country, to go to war with someone over me or, my fellow citizens. That's the kind of government we want, right? We don't want a pussy government that says, oh, you killed 5 Brits, you killed 5 Australians. Okay, sorry, we can't do anything about it. No. That's why I used to love the United States as well. I don't know if the US has lost it. I think under Trump, America's enemies are scared to mess with American civilians' lives. It used to be the same for Britain as well. But now, it doesn't matter. British civilians, Australian civilians, we don't matter at all. I know Australia is not a military power, so Australia can't go to war with any country. But these woke lefty governments these days, they don't value their civilians' lives. They don't even put diplomatic pressure on the belligerent powers. But Israel will go to war with you. You with an Israeli civilian, Israel will punish you. I love you, Israel. I don't know. I want to apply for Israeli citizenship. Okay, so now let me show you the tiers of some of these pro-Hamas terror simps. Let's start with two-tier Keir, yeah? This is two-tier Keir. I condemn Israel's strikes on Doha, which violate Qatar's sovereignty. He cares about Qatar's sovereignty and risk further escalation across the region. The priority must be an immediate ceasefire, the release of hostages, oh, he's speaking from both sides of his mouth, and a huge surge in aid into Gaza. This is the only solution towards long-lasting peace. No, it's not. Did he condemn this terror attack that took place a couple of days ago? Let's see. 2nd of October 2024. No. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He didn't condemn the terrorist attack on Israel a couple of days ago by Hamas, in which 6 civilians died. He didn't condemn it. Oh my God. Wow. Surely he did. There's no way. Maybe I'm not looking at it. Let's have a look. Looking at it. I'm looking for it. Keir, for your own sake. No, September 7th. September 5th. Nope, he didn't. He did not condemn Hamas's terrorist attack on Israel just a couple of days ago, in which 6 Israeli civilians died, and Hamas took responsibility for that terrorist attack. He did not condemn that, but he's condemning this. I condemn. Go screw yourself, two-tier Keir. Okay, look at this new clown in the free world. Mark Carney. Canada condemns Israel's strikes in Qatar, an intolerable expansion of violence and an affront to Qatar's sovereignty. Regardless of their objectives, such attacks pose a grave risk of escalating conflict throughout the region. What do you mean escalating? What military power do they have? What can Qatar do? Can't do nothing. They've got nothing. They have got literally nothing. Iran has already been neutralized. What have they got? Who have they got? Nothing. Israel has all the power. Israel can incinerate all these governments. And you're telling Israel to hold back? No. Well done, Israel. Again, as I said, I love Israel. You are my favorite country right now, Israel, because you stand up for your people. You do not make excuses. You do not bend the knee. I love you. Okay. Look at this. Piers Morgan. Israel's attack on Qatar is so indefensible. Even President Trump isn't defending it. Netanyahu is out of control. Let's watch this video together. I don't think President Trump condemned Netanyahu or Israel. Actually, President Trump was like, oh, I want peace in the region, but wink, wink. Well done, Israel. That's the impression that I got from this statement. Have a listen.
This morning, the Trump administration was notified by the United States military that as Israel was attacking Hamas, which very unfortunately was located in a section of Doha, the capital of Qatar. Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating...
That's the crux of the argument. That statement should have ended there if President Trump was condemning Israel. He's not. So President Trump is speaking from both sides of his mouth too, because, you know, it's okay. We'll just say that we're not happy about it, but Netanyahu, it's okay. It's okay. I know what you're doing.
Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal.
It's a worthy goal. Oh, it's a worthy goal. What more do you want? It's a worthy goal.
Profited off the misery of those living in Gaza is a worthy goal. President Trump immediately directed Special Envoy Witkoff to inform the Qataris of the impending attack, which he did.
He told them in advance, hey, look, Israel is going to just bomb a target inside your capital. Trump didn't say that, hey, you know what? I'm going to stop Israel. If you remember, when Israel was going to continue bombing Iran after Trump took out those nuclear facilities in Mount Frodo or whatever it's called, Israel wanted to keep going. But when Trump wanted to stop Israel, he used very tough language, and Israel did back off. In this case, they notified Qatar in advance, so Trump was on board with this.
The president views Qatar as a strong ally and friend of the United States.
That's a carrot and stick language. It's a perfect carrot and stick language.
And feels very badly
I love
about
Trump
the
too.
location of this attack. President Trump wants all of the hostages in Gaza and the bodies of the dead released.
Bodies of the dead released too, because no one left behind. Because that's Israel's motto, no one is left behind. I love Israel.
And this war to end now. President Trump also spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu after the attack.
Didn't Trump warn Hamas a couple of days ago to have a ceasefire? Otherwise, I'm not going to ask again or something like that. And then Hamas retaliated with that terrorist attack in Israel, in which 6 civilians died. This is Trump's wrath. Trump is fully on board. So I don't know what Piers Morgan is reading.
The Prime Minister told President Trump that he wants to make peace, and quickly. President Trump believes this unfortunate incident could serve as an opportunity for peace.
Yeah.
The president also spoke to the Emir and Prime Minister of Qatar and thanked them for their support and friendship to our country. He assured them that such a thing will not happen again on their soil.
He assured them such a thing will not happen again. Oh, I doubt it. President Trump changes his tune every day. So if I was Qatar, I wouldn't be so confident that it won't happen again. It will happen again. If anything we've learned from Israel, Israel doesn't back down. Okay, who else? Who else is crying? Oh, US's first jihadi senator. You're saying, I condemn Israel's attack on Qatar. This attack, which violates international law, not only further harms the possibility of a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, but it also jeopardizes the lives of the remaining hostages. Oh, how very considerate of you. Do you really care about those hostages? No, she doesn't. Israel, one by one, keeps destroying their delusion that they are some kind of a power. They've got nothing. The only thing they have, the shrieks in university campuses and these so-called protests every weekend in Western capitals. That's all. That's the only thing that they have. They have no military power. Israel can take them out one by one. And that's what Israel's been doing. Well done, Israel. Israel is in the position of power. So it's actually Israel who shouldn't back down. And that's perfectly right. Israel has stuck to its maximalistic demands, which is full surrender by Hamas and release all hostages, including the dead bodies. We're not going to budge. When Israel has all the cards, why should Israel budge? And I think that's the reason why Trump, even though Trump wants this war to end, he cannot stop Netanyahu because Trump respects power. That's what Trump wrongly, though, said about Zelensky, that Zelensky had no cards, which was wrong, by the way. Zelensky had a lot of cards, but Trump was misinformed on that front. But in this case, Trump understands this. Israel has all the cards. What does Qatar have? Do they have a military? Nothing. What did Iran have? Yeah, Iran had Hezbollah. Iran had the Houthis. Iran had these ballistic missiles, but Israel neutralized that. Israel destroyed that narrative as well. What do these belligerents have right now? Nothing. Israel's enemies have got absolutely nothing other than these mindless, blue-haired Wokistanis and some Islamists protesting in London and New York. Who cares? So screw you, Ilhan Omar. Yvette Cooper, the recently sacked Home Secretary of the UK. The UK condemns Israel's strikes on Doha, which are flagrant violation of Qatar's sovereignty and risk setting back negotiations for a ceasefire, which is the only way to achieve lasting peace. Further escalation in the Middle East must be avoided. There is nothing to escalate. The other side has got literally nothing to escalate with. Screw you. Doesn't matter. Last one. This terrorist simp commie, Jeremy Corbyn. Israel has bombed Qatar, a sovereign nation. This reckless act of escalation is a disgraceful and deliberate attempt to destroy any chances of a ceasefire. Yeah, we don't want a ceasefire. We want to dismantle Hamas in its entirety. Gaza cannot be left in control of Hamas ever again. Now, I know that's a maximalist demand, but again, Israel has all the cards, so why should Israel change its demands? Why? Why? Would you do it? No. Hamas doesn't even have any cards. They're dropping like flies, and they still are not budging away. So why should Israel budge? Antonio Guterres, the UN, which is a spokesperson for Islamist terrorists.
We are just learning about the Israeli attacks in Qatar, a country that has been playing a very positive role.
Very positive role. How much money are they paying them? Look, Qatar understands one thing, that money buys a lot of things, but was it Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones when Littlefinger goes, knowledge is power?
Knowledge is power.
And then she tells one of her bodyguards, take his head off. And then they are about to take Littlefinger's head off. And then she says, no, power is power.
Power is power.
So yeah, Qatar can throw away its gas dollars at these people. They can host football World Cups by buying FIFA officials. They can get these UN bureaucrats to speak in their favor that Qatar is playing a useful role by their money. In the end, it doesn't matter because power is power. Israel has the power. You don't. Israel has an army. Israel has the Iron Dome. Israel has the nukes. Israel has the cutting-edge fighter jets. Qatar doesn't. And you will never have them. So either get in bed with China or stop playing these dirty games. Stop hosting these terrorists.
Achieve a ceasefire and release of all hostages.
Yeah, Qatar has been monumental in getting all the hostages released. Yeah, well done, Qatar.
I condemn this flagrant violation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Qatar.
I don't. I say well done, Israel.
All parties must work towards achieving a permanent ceasefire, not destroying it.
Do people take these cliched statements seriously? I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. And again, this is why I love Israel so much. Israel goes after its enemies without any apologies. I am so excited to see what else Israel is going to do with Qatar or all these other countries. One thing is for sure, Trump does not stop Benjamin Netanyahu and Mehdi Hassan and all these people. Their shrieks are music to my ears. Well done, Israel. I love you.